All right, what's going on, guys? This is Njoku, Sneaker Principal, and right now I was thinking about a conversation I had with a friend of mine about a presentation that I did on AI to principals here in New York City, and in that presentation, it was 45 minutes long. There was not a lot of wiggle room, and if I was going to talk about artificial intelligence and platforms that I use and should be using, it wouldn't be easy for me to just compress all of that into 45 minutes. So I was told it felt very much like the beginning of a conversation, but it also left a lot wanting. And I agree with that because the purpose of my conversations on AI is really about getting people to really say how, no, to get people to engage in it. So if you're watching any of my content or you come across any of these videos, my mission here is really to get you to say, okay, let me put up my laptop, let me put up my phone, let me download that application, or if I already have that application, let me see how much further I can push it. What else can I do with it? And that is the real question. What else can I do with it? Because once you start really engaging in artificial intelligence, whatever platform it is, and not just using it, not just doing it, but actually directing it and asking it to do so much more. So this is going to be a very short video. And what I'm going to do this evening is share with you kind of in real time how my brain works when I'm really saying, okay, like how do I use AI in the moment to do something? So those of you who saw my last video know that Perplexity is one of the platforms that I'm using right now, and I'm getting used to it because I've been a ChatGPT fanboy for a while here. And so let me show you something real quick here. Let me go ahead and switch cameras and add Perplexity to the bottom of the screen right here. So again, I'm using the vertical layout here so you can watch this on my phone, and hopefully you're able to see what I'm doing here clearly. So one thing before I move forward, what I'm showing you here is literally the tip, the very, very, very tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that can be done. But however, I think for my conversations with you, especially when it comes to how to best start to engage with platforms like Perplexity or ChatGPT or Claude or whatever else that you may be using, Grok. It's another one, Anthropic, I think it's called. Whatever it is that you're using, is getting you to just become a user. So right now, I'm going to try something that I actually haven't had the privilege of fully trying with Perplexity, but I do allow it with ChatGPT. Is using the voice command. So right here on the screen right here, I'm going to tap the bottom corner. Okay, so I just muted the mic. So this is AI's, Perplexity's, what do I call this? Feature that allows me to communicate with it verbally. And sometimes I'll be driving. I do this with ChatGPT all the time. And I have an idea on my phone, and I just tap on it on the screen so I can drive hands-free and talk to it. I know it sounds weird talking to your phone and engaging in a conversation. But when I show, some of you have already seen this before, wonderful. Some of you have heard about this. Some of you don't even know what I'm talking about right now. But let me show you real quick. So right now, I'm going to engage in a conversation with Perplexity's voice interaction feature. And I'm going to be talking to it. I'm not sure it's going to be a male or female voice. I think it might be a female voice about ideas that I have for my podcast and see if you can assist me with that. So I'm going to start by priming it first, telling it how I need it to be for this conversation. Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear me? So I'm not sure right now if It's catching my oh.
No worries. Take your time. Let me know if you have any specific questions or if you'd like me to help with something else in the meantime.
Yes. So I need you to be my consultant when it comes to me talking
Of
about
course,
ideas
I'd
for
be
my
happy to
podcast.
help out as your consultant. What area are you looking for advice in right now? That way I can give you the best guidance possible.
So ChatGPT's version allows me to, when it sees I'm still talking, it will stop and wait for me to finish the whole entire conversation. It might be the same thing here, but also remember I'm speaking through a mic into the iPad, into the system here, so there's probably some latency. So I'm going to try to make sure that my sentences are precise and short, and let's see what happens with that. I need your assistance with planning out my future podcast episodes for the Sneaker Principle podcast.
Got it. Planning podcast episodes is a great idea. Let's start with some basics. Do you have any themes, topics, or guest ideas in mind already, or would you like to brainstorm those together?
First off, do you know what the Sneaker Principle podcast is?
The Sneaker Principle podcast is all about education, leadership, and personal growth, especially in urban school environments. The host, Njoku, shares insights on transformative leadership in schools, balancing personal wellness and community engagement. It often dives into stories of school reform and the challenges and successes along the way. Now that we've got that foundation, what specific direction are you thinking about for your future episodes? Are you focusing more on leadership, personal stories, or something new entirely?
So as you can see, if you notice on the top of this page, you see like little icons there. So it says 9 sources. So it did a quick search online and found 9 sources to feed its explanation of what the Sneaker Principle podcast is. It also included my name in there. So if you notice here, of the 9 sources, there's the Amazon symbol. I was like, why is the Amazon symbol there? Because I wrote a book. I've written a couple of books. And so it's gathering all this to say this is the total sum based on a baseline search on the Sneaker Principle podcast that's connected to Njoku, which is me, and this is what it gave. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it to consult with me what is the best direction to go based on the content that's already been created. Can you tell me what the best direction is for me to go based on all the content that's already been created for 2025?
Based on recent episodes from 2025, you've touched on themes like overcoming fear, embracing success, mindfulness for school leaders, and even facing financial trauma across generations. To guide your next steps, it might be good to build on these themes and go deeper. For example, you could explore resilience in leadership, or even invite guests who have personal stories related to transforming schools or fostering wellness. Would you like to focus on any of those areas more specifically, or do you have a new direction in mind that you want to explore?
So now I know that I definitely want to keep these themes, but I also want to find out how to best balance it with the work that I'm doing around AI education for school leaders and educators. So I'm going to answer that question specifically. I want to keep the themes that I've had over the past
That
20
sounds
years.
like a great approach. Consistency in themes can really help to build a loyal audience. Since you've already been focusing on leadership, personal growth, and the challenges of education in
Again,
urban
the struggle here
environments,
is that
you could expand by bringing in more voices.
on our ChatGPT,
For example, other
I have to
principals,
be very
teachers, or
succinct
even
and quick.
students. You can also cover practical solutions or success stories from other schools. Would you like help structuring a few upcoming episodes around those ideas?
How do I embed the work that I'm doing around AI education for school leaders and teachers in these episodes?
Integrating AI education into your episodes is a fantastic direction. especially since it's becoming so vital in modern education. You could dedicate segments of each episode to practical AI tools that school leaders and teachers can use. For example, you could explore how AI can help with administrative tasks, personalized learning, or even data-driven decision-making. Another way to embed it is by inviting experts in AI education, or having discussions with school leaders who've successfully implemented AI in their schools. Do you want to explore specific AI topics first, or should we plan out a few episode structures that naturally weave AI education into your existing themes?
So check this out. So again, I swear to you, none of this has been pre-planned. I didn't sit down and feed AI any information. This is a raw start of me talking about my podcast episodes, 2025, my working around AI, and how to integrate it all in together. So imagine me having to sit by myself and figure a lot of these things out and think and ask myself, okay, what do I want to do? Or I might say, hey, I need to go get me a coach, sit with the coach and say, hey, coach, this is what I've been doing. And the coach says, you know what, I'm going to spend some time going over the materials and your work, send me some links, and let me look at them. But I'm doing this all right now. We're 11 minutes into this video. And you're literally watching live right now how the Perplexity AI platform is helping me figure out some of the themes here. So imagine as a principal, as a teacher, you doing some of these work for your school. Maybe there's a pain point that you're working on, something that you feel like you need to really focus on and dig deep into. But you're asking yourself, how do I do that? How do I get where do I even start from? Perplexity right now, I'm paying $20 a month. And this station is not sponsored. I don't think it's sponsored anyone, but I'm just telling you, this is how I think out a lot of things that I think out before I even present it to life coaches or colleagues to figure out what am I going to do next. So here, it's asking me now: do you want to explore specific AI topics first, or should we plan out a few episode structures that naturally weave in AI education into existing themes? So that's what I want to ask for. To plan out a few episodes that weaves in AI education into some existing themes. Let's go ahead and plan out a few episode structures.
Great. Let's break it down into a few episode structures that keep your core themes but also weave in AI education. 1. Leadership and AI. You can start with personal leadership stories, then transition into how AI tools or concepts can help leaders make better decisions or manage their time more effectively. 2. Teacher empowerment through AI. Focus on practical strategies teachers can use to harness AI for lesson planning, grading, or even student engagement. Pair that with a story or interview from a teacher who's used these tools. 3. Student outcomes and AI. Discuss how AI-driven insights can improve student outcomes and make learning more personalized. You can interview someone who's implemented AI-based learning tools in classrooms and discuss the results. How does that sound so far? We can adjust and add more detail based on your preferences.
So tell me that's not insane. And again, this is scratching the tip of the iceberg. All right, before I get off this this live stream, let me do one thing. Let me ask it to draft an episode, and then suggest to me what kind of guest, what should this guest look like. So check this out. So draft an episode based on student outcomes and AI, and also let me know what kind of guests should I be looking for.
For that episode, you'll want to look for guests like teachers or principals who've used AI tools to track student progress or personalize learning. You could also invite education technology experts who specialize in AI solutions for classrooms. They can share practical tips and real-world results to add value for your listeners. Does that sound like the kind of guests you'd want to feature?
So that was interesting. It did something which I'm going to have to research a little bit about. It says here, plan episode So a podcast episode on student outcomes and AI. It kind of gave me a reminder for August 2nd at 7:27 p.m., which is already past because it is August 2nd, 10:33. So I'm going to look into that, but I'm going to ignore that for now. If my number goes up based on this, that's something for me to dig deeper into. But again, like I said, I'm using this for the first time for this purpose. I've usually used ChatGPT. So please draft a full episode, script it out for me.
Absolutely. Let's outline a structure for the episode. Here's a sample flow. 1. Introduction, 2 to 3 minutes. Open with a quick personal story or reflection on how data-driven approaches have changed education. Introduce the episode topic, how AI is revolutionizing student outcomes. The case for AI in education, 5 minutes. Talk about how traditional methods of tracking student performance have their limitations. Introduce how AI can analyze data more efficiently to identify students' strengths and weaknesses. 3. Guest interview, 15-20 minutes. Bring in your guest, someone like a teacher, principal, or...
All right, so I'm turning that down a little bit. So check this out. Like, it's literally outlining this for me and telling me what of the segments should entail. After it does this, the final thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ask it to script out this whole entire episode, and see what it does there. But again, this is showing the power, and again, this is kind of information that I can sit down, then make my own, make some edits here and there, and say, how do I enter these spaces? But it gives me a framework so that I'm not just going on top of my head.
5. Conclusion, 2 to 3 minutes. Reflect on the conversation and share a personal insight or experience. Close out with a call to action. Invite listeners to share their own experiences or suggest future topics around AI in education. We can refine any part depending on the style you want. Would you like more detail on any specific segment?
I would like you to script out an entire episode with every single detail possible that I can use to modify it and make my own.
Absolutely. Let's dive into a more detailed episode script you can customize. Episode title, Transforming Student Outcomes with AI. Intro music, 30 seconds. Host monologue, 2 to 3 minutes. Welcome back to the Sneaker Principal podcast. I'm your host, Njoku. Today we're going to dive into something that's changing the way we look at student success and learning, artificial intelligence. I've been reflecting on how much has changed since I first started my journey in education. Back then, you relied heavily on grades and tests.
So right now, what is happening is just literally scripting out everything. Unfortunately, my brain doesn't work that way. I'm not sure what just happened. Oh, snap. All right. I failed to mute it.
No worries at all. Let's keep it more flexible. I can outline key talking
So
points and transitions.
that happened only because I left the mic on. So it thought it needed me. It thought it wanted me to make some modifications. But now, as you saw previously, it was literally writing out the whole entire script. Me personally, that doesn't quite work for me because my dyslexia, the way my brain works, I need the flexibility of me just talking, so bullet points work best for me versus a whole entire script I have to memorize. But now think about that. Think about the kind of teacher you might be, school leader you might be. You have a parent meeting, school leadership meeting, a town hall, and you're saying, hey, this is my town hall that I'm doing. This is a topic, and AI can be your speechwriter, give you bullet points, whatever the case may be. These are powerful tools. As a classroom teacher, think about that. As a superintendent, think about that. We all find ourselves in spaces where we have to present. Okay, a classroom teacher, you're presenting all the time. So yeah, I just want to share this with you to show you how powerful this tool is. And again, I'm telling you, this is the tip, the very, very, very tip of the iceberg. There's so much more under the surface, and hopefully this is helpful to someone. That this motivates you to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and log on and play with it and figure out how to direct it to make my life easier. I'll tell you this right now. I heard somebody say that 98% of our work lives should be managed by AI. Not as doing the work for us, but it's making us more effective. So all the busy work that we were doing previously can be moved into AI, so we can do the real creative stuff, the stuff that's imaginative, the stuff that only we as human beings can come up with. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If this inspired you, do me a favor, please follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're watching, but especially on LinkedIn. I'm trying to really build my audience on LinkedIn because I know this is where a lot of people that I'm speaking to exist. So if you catch me on any other platform, just skip hop over to LinkedIn and let's continue this conversation there. My get that back in focus. So just jump over there and you see almost everybody, the whole entire body of my work, my conversations on LinkedIn. That's where I live the most. But again, when I stream, I stream to every single platform that I can get my hands on, with everything from Twitch to X to Facebook to now I'm doing Instagram. I'm not sure if it's working, but hey, but my goal is to get this out there as much as possible. Honestly, I'm just giving this away because I believe so much in this work that it would change. That it is changing the world, and I just don't want us as a people, as a community, us in urban settings to get left behind. Like we've been left behind so many times before in the past. All right, y'all. Njoku, be well, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.